Alright, everybody, we are back with our next episode of TEW9, the War of Immortals save with the WWF Classics. We are here with the WWFC Superstars. So, we'll take a quick look back at last week's episode, and then we will head right into booking our show. So, in our pre-show match, we had Dino Bravo beat Barry Horowitz. We had Vince and Jesse run down the card for the night. The Twin Towers defeated the Natural Disasters. Ted DiBiase talks about his upcoming match with Jim Duggan and how he wants the Intercontinental Championship one day. Ted DiBiase defeated Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Rick Rude tells the Warrior that he's done. He is over with at King of the Ring. We had Chris Adams defeat IRS. We had Duggan tell the Honky Tonk Man that he wants that TV title. Then we had Sergeant Slaughter and Jimmy Snuka defeat the Powers of Pain. We had Randy and Jake have a face-to-face before their meetup at King of the Ring. We had the Honky Tonk Man defeat Koko Beware in Koko's return match to the WWFC in a losing effort for the World Television title. We had Kenta Kobayashi talk about his time so far in the WWFC and being undefeated. And his way through the King of the Ring, only to unfortunately lose his next match to Paul Orndorff. Then we had Larry Zbyszko mocking Nick Bockwinkel and talking about his upcoming match with Lex Luger, where he was going to beat Luger. Unfortunately, though, Lex put Larry down with the torture rack. Then the Road Warriors give the Rougeaus a final warning saying, hey, you know what? You guys can sit and make fun of us all you want, but when it comes time for King of the Ring, we are going to destroy you. And then in the main event, we had Jake Warrior and the Road Warriors defeat Rick Rude, Macho King Randy Savage, and the tag team champions, the Fabulous Rougeaus. So, that is everything for last week's episode. I am going to go ahead and book tonight's episode. Alright, everybody, we are back. We have the show booked. Let's jump into it with our first pre-show match. In a decent pre-show match, the Bushwhackers defeated King Kong Bundy and IRS in 10 minutes and 3 seconds. When Bushwhacker Butch pinned IRS with the battering ram, the crowd is expectant and simmering. The wrestling rating is a 59. The crowd rating is a 51. The segment got a 63. Bushwhacker Luke had a 55. Bushwhacker Butch had a 59. IRS had a 63. Bundy had a 59. Bushwhacker Luke was really off his game. King Kong Bundy seemed off his game. The Bushwhackers showed excellent chemistry teaming together, and the commentary quality lifted the match. The color commentary gave the match a boost. So, let's head off to our next pre-show match. In a decent pre-show match, Larry Zbyszko defeated Koko Beware, Paul Roma, and the Honky Tonk Man in 10-17 when Larry submitted Paul Roma with a Larry Land Dreamer. In terms of ring work, Larry Zbyszko was head and shoulders above everybody else. I can see that. The crowd is expectant and simmering. The wrestling rating got a 61. The crowd rating got a 53. And the segment got a 72. Honky Tonk Man had a 63. Coco had a 48. Paul Roma had a 53. And Larry Zbyszko had an 80. The commentary quality lifted it. The color commentary gave the match a boost. And Jimmy Hart did good work at ringside. So let's head off to our opening segment of Vince and Jesse running down our card. Welcome everybody to another electrifying edition of WWFC Superstars. I'm Vince McMahon alongside my broadcast colleague Jesse the Body Ventura. And tonight, and folks, we have an absolutely stacked card for you tonight. You're right for once, McMahon. This is one of the biggest nights in WWFC history. You want power, you want intensity, you want tag team chaos. You're going to get all of that and more. In tonight's massive main event, we'll see a pairing we never thought we'd witness. The Ultimate Warrior teams with the new WWFC World Heavyweight Champion Jake the Snake Roberts to take on the Macho King Randy Savage and Mr. Perfect. That's combustible, McMahon. Warrior and Roberts may be on the same side, but I doubt they trust each other. And Perfect and Savage, those two know how to play dirty. This one's going to be pure chaos. Also tonight, we have two of the most dominant tag teams in the WWFC history collide. The Road Warriors take on the Powers of Pain. That's going to be an absolute slugfest. Not to mention the tag titles are on the line. The Rougeaus defend against the Nasty Boys. That's not going to be pretty, McMahon. The Nasty Boys have been clawing for gold, but the Rougeaus are sneaky. Don't count them out. In singles action, the powerhouse Rick Rude goes one-on-one with the walking earthquake himself, Earthquake. Can Rude keep his momentum going, or will the big man crush his plans flat? And don't forget, Lex Luger is in action against Ray Stevens. The total package is always impressive, but Stevens is no pushover. This will be a true test of skill and strength. It all goes down tonight on WWFC Superstars. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because the action is about to explode. Stay tuned because the bodies are about to hit the mat. So the crowd is hot and rising at the end. The segment got an 81. It advanced all of our storylines. Jesse Ventura improvised throughout the segment. The commentary quality lifted it. The angle got the crowd hotter, and the angle got the crowd off to a strong start. So let's head to our first match. In a decent match, the Fabulous Rougeaus defeated the Nasty Boys when Jacques pinned Jerry Saggs after Jimmy Hart interfered. The Rougeaus make defense number 8 of the WWFC tag titles. The crowd is white hot. The wrestling rating is a 69. The crowd rating is a 49. The segment got a 79. Jerry Saggs had a 62. Brian Knobbs had a 58. Raymond had a 73, and Jacques had a 81. It advanced the Rougeau and the Road Warriors storyline. Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs showed excellent chemistry. They got a tag team specialist bonus. Jacques and Raymond showed excellent chemistry teaming together. The commentary quality lifted the match. Jimmy Hart did good work at ringside, and both Jacques and Raymond have pretty good chemistry with Jimmy Hart, and the match got the crowd hotter. So let's head off to our next segment here. Ooh, what a promo. Oh, look at it, tough guys. Take a good look at it, because old Hacksaw Jim Duggan is your new WWFC television champion, tough guy. Honky Tonk Man thought he could prance around with his hair gel and his guitar, but at King of the Ring, I showed him what happens when you mess with a red-blooded American, tough guy. I didn't just beat him, I ran through him like a runaway freight train, tough guy. Now that this title's around my waist, it's gonna mean something again. I'm not ducking fights, I'm not singing songs, I'm defending this title like a real man, brother. So to anybody in that locker room who thinks they're man enough to step up, you better bring everything you got, because Hacksaw ain't backing down from nobody. Ho, USA, USA. So the crowd heat at the end is very hot. The segment got a 92, and it advanced the Jim Duggan Big Boss Man storyline. So let's head to the next match. In a wild brawl that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, the Twin Towers defeated Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Kenta Kobayashi in 11:49 when Bossman pinned Duggan with the sidewalk slam. The crowd heat at the very end is very hot. The wrestling rating got a 78. The crowd rating got a 58. The segment got us a 79. Akeem had a 57. Bossman had an 85. Kenta had an 82, and Hacksaw had an 89, so it advanced our Duggan Bossman storyline. Bossman and Akeem have great chemistry, and Akeem and Slick have pretty good chemistry. So we're going to move things on, and we're going to have Duggan defend his title against either Bossman or Akeem. I just put down Big Bossman. But one of the two of them are going to challenge him at Saturday night's main event. We'll figure it out when we go along with it, so... Hey, who knows? Let's head to our next segment here. Man, another bad promo from him. Lex Luger, you heard the announcement, and now it's time you face the truth. At King of the Ring, Larry Zbyszko and I didn't just win a match, we won power. We earned the right to choose exactly what kind of match we want at Saturday night's main event on July the 2nd, or 20th. And as much as you might want to prepare, Luger, as much as you might be pacing the locker room wondering what kind of battle you'll be in for, I'm not telling you just yet. Not tonight, not tomorrow. I'll tell you when I feel like it, because this is the $1,000,000 game, and you're just a player in it. You've got something I want, Luger, the Intercontinental Championship, and I always get what I want. So you keep that title nice and polished, because on July the 20th, I'm taking it on my terms. Because everybody's got a price for the $1,000,000 man. So the crowd heat is very hot. We got a 72 from him. He improvised well throughout the segment. The commentary quality lifted the segment, and the color commentary gave it a boost. So let's head to our next match. What? In a good match, Lex Luger defeated Ray Stevens in 12:26 by pinfall with a flying forearm. Lex Luger makes defense number 2 of his WWFC Intercontinental title. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 73. The crowd rating is a 71, and we got an 85 for this match. Lex had an in-ring performance of 87. Ray Stevens had a 59. It advanced the Lex Luger and the Ted DiBiase storyline. This match was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. A lot better. So let's head to the next segment here. Well, 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 what did I tell you? Fat, out of shape, no good couch potato watching at home. I said I was going to put the Ultimate Warrior down, and I did. At King of the Ring, I didn't just beat the Warrior, I exposed him. The face paint, the snarling, the shaking ropes. None of that saved him when it was just me and him in the ring. One rude awakening later, and he was done. Now that I've taken care of the muscle-bound maniac, it's time to move on to bigger, better, and golden things. There's a championship out there with my name on it, and the rest of the WWFC, you better take notice. Because when Ravishing Rick Rude sets his sights on something, it's only a matter of time before it's mine. And that is a fact of life. So the crowd heat's very hot. The segment got a 78. The commentary quality lifted the segment. So let's head off to our next segment. Not bad. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Rick Rude defeated Earthquake in the 7:56 by pinfall with the Rude Awakening. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 70. The crowd rating is a 72. The segment got us an 80. Rick Rude had a 78. Earthquake had a 63. The match suffered because there was not enough selling shown. Jesse and Vince had pretty good chemistry when calling matches, and the commentary quality lifted the match. So let's check out the dirt sheet. I'm assuming it's just because there wasn't penalized for holding back, cap due to the short length. Well, I wanted the short length for a reason. I don't really see anything bad, like anything really negative. I mean, besides the holding back and the poor selling for Earthquake. But shoot. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, so let's head off to the next segment. Oh, man, he's got like a 90-something in promos, but he cannot get a promo off. I won't stand here and pretend I'm not disappointed. King of the Ring didn't go our way. I'm not the kind of man who makes excuses, but I am the kind of man who learns from every setback, and I can assure you Ted DiBiase and Larry Zbyszko didn't win the war. They won a battle. But Larry, this is far from over. You wanted my attention, and now you've got it. I know you earned the right to choose the stipulation or the match at Saturday night's main event. And while I wait for you to finally reveal what kind of match you have in store for me, I know this. I'm preparing for everything. Cage match, submission, no disqualification, it doesn't matter. I'm not looking past you. I'm looking right at you. So enjoy your moment, Larry, because on July the 20th, whatever the match may be, I will show you exactly why I've been called the best pure wrestler in this sport has ever known. I'll be ready. The question is, will you? So the crowd heat's very hot. We got a 64. It advanced the Nick Bockwinkel Larry Zbyszko storyline. The commentary quality lifted it, and the color commentary gave it a boost. So let's head to the next segment. In a decent match, Nick Bockwinkel defeated Dino Bravo in 10:28 by pinfall with the pile driver. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 57. The crowd rating is a 51. We got a 68. Nick got a 64. Dino got a 50. It advanced the Nick Bockwinkel Larry Zbyszko storyline. Dino Bravo seemed off his game. Nick and Dino have pretty good chemistry, and it lifted the match. The commentary quality lifted it. The color commentary gave it a boost, and Jimmy Hart did good work at ringside. So let's head to our next segment here. At King of the Ring, we saw cowards. Cowards dressed up in shiny tights and waving flags like it means something. The fabulous Rougeaus didn't win. They ran. They escaped the jaws of destruction by getting themselves disqualified. Yeah, Rougeaus, you didn't beat us. You bailed out. You took the easy way out because you knew what was coming. You felt it. Every time we hit you, your bones rattled. Every time we moved, the ground shook. That's right, Hawk. We were one doomsday device away from winning those tag titles, and you knew it. So you found the coward's door and took it. But next time, there ain't gonna be no running, no hiding, no DQ to save you. We're calling for it now, a rematch. And this time, no disqualifications, no excuses, just pain, power, and punishment. Rougeaus, when we meet again, we're not coming to wrestle, we're coming to end you. Oh, what a rush. Next time, boys, you don't walk out. You get carried out. So the crowd heat's very hot. We got a 68 for that segment. The Rougeaus and the Road Warriors advanced, but they lost heat. The commentary quality gave it a boost. The color commentary gave it a boost as well. So let's head to the Rougeaus versus the Powers of Pain. Not bad. In a decent match, the Road Warriors defeated the Powers of Pain in 9:39 when Road Warrior Animal pinned the Warlord with the Doomsday device. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 68. The crowd is a 56. The segment got an 83. The Barbarian had a 55. The Warlord had a 49. Road Warrior Hawk had an 84. Animal had an 83. The Rougeaus versus the Road Warriors advanced. The Warlord and the Barbarian have great chemistry. Road Warrior Hawk and Animal showed excellent chemistry, and they got a tag team bonus. The commentary quality lifted the match. Slick did good work at ringside, and Road Warrior Animal and Paul Ellering have great chemistry. So let's head to the next segment. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had the honor and privilege of calling some of the greatest moments in professional wrestling history, but tonight this is personal because I'm stepping out from behind the commentary desk for a moment and into the world of managing. And I'm not just doing it for anybody. You see, when I decided to take this step, there was only one man I could think of, someone I've known for years, someone I've watched bleed, sweat, and fight with more heart than just about anybody to ever lace up a pair of boots. My first client and my personal friend, the one and only Dr. Death Steve Williams. This man is a 4-time All-American, a walking war machine, and one of the toughest human beings I've ever known. He's held gold around the world, and now He's here in the WWFC to make a statement. Dr. Death, we're not here to talk, we're here to fight, and together we're going to shake up the WWFC, whether it's the World Champion, the Intercontinental Champion, or anybody else who thinks they're tough enough to stop you. Tell them what's coming, big man. So, the crowd heat is very hot. The segment got a 77. Steve Williams debuted his machine gimmick and it got an initial rating of adequate. He was very underwhelming. The angle that I threw out was a success, and the commentary quality lifted it. Let's check his gimmick. Penalized for losing to comedy gimmicks, gimmicky cartoons. May receive to look dominant. Penalized when taking part in comedy bouts and comic release. Well, that's not going to happen. He's never going to have any of that, so that doesn't have to worry. So, let's head off to our Steve Williams match here. In a wild brawl that had decent wrestling, it didn't have much heat, Steve Williams defeated the Natural Butch Reed in 9:46 by pinfall with an Oklahoma Stampede. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 66. The crowd rating is a 46. The segment got a 73. Steve Williams had an in-ring performance of 75. Butch Reed had a 56. The creative finish was a failure. The commentary quality lifted the match. The Natural Butch Reed and Colonel Robert Parker are a good pairing and play off each other well, and Steve Williams is getting better at his gimmick. So, I finally decided to bring in Dr. Death to see what all he can do. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't a bad match. The creative finish could have done better. But I also thought maybe there might be something nice between him and JR, but apparently not. I just want to see here. Okay. Well, no, nothing there from JR, I see. Oh. Okay, let's head to the next segment. They said it couldn't be done. They said the Macho King was untouchable, but what they forgot is that every king eventually gets dethroned. At King of the Ring, I didn't just beat Randy Savage, I broke him. Inside that steel cage, I did exactly what I said I would do. I slithered through his defenses, and I struck. Now this is mine. And now the snake sits on a throne. The WWFC has a new leader. Not one who screams and poses. Not one who plays mind games with glitter and madness. But one who sees everything with cold, calculating eyes. To anyone who dares step forward, you better be prepared to walk into the darkness. Because I'm not just here to defend this title. I'm here to own this company's soul. One by one, the heroes will fall. And all that will be left is the snake. So the crowd heat is very hot. The segment got a 92. It advanced the Jake Roberts Mr. Perfect storyline. So let's head to our main event here. In a bout that had sensational wrestling and fantastic heat, the Macho King Randy Savage and Mr. Perfect defeated the Ultimate Warrior and Jake the Snake Roberts in 1747 when Mr. Perfect pinned the Ultimate Warrior with the Perfect Plex. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating got a 95. The crowd rating got an 86. The segment got a 99. Jake the Snake had a 95. The Ultimate Warrior had a 96. Mr. Perfect had a 94. The Macho King had a 96. It advanced both the Jake the Snake Roberts and Mr. Perfect storyline and the Ultimate Warrior Randy Savage storyline. The Mr. Perfect creative finish was a success, and the match got the crowd buzzing. So, let's finish off our show here. We got a 95 for this show. That increased our popularity in 15 regions. We would have gained 2 in the US, but we were limited. 1 in Canada, we were limited. And the show benefited from having quite a few wide selections of angles. So let's finish up the show here. The financial report, we made $676,000. And the popularity, The Great Lakes went up 1, Mid-Atlantic went up 1, the Southwest went up 1, Tri-State went up 1, and we went up 1 in just about everywhere in Canada except for British Columbia and the Maritimes. We need to find something that covers the Maritimes so we can get it up to 71, and we can grow to huge. But apparently that's not ever going to happen. So, that is the end of this episode. So I will see everybody in the next one.